clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Game Week 1 podcast episode number 37. And we got only a few more days left before the fantasy football deadline for Game Week 1. And I'm joined with my fellow co-hosts Roy and Karan. How are you guys doing?
Hey Ryan, what's going on? I'm excited. Only 3 more days to mess around with my team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good preseason.
Preseason has been very good for Roy.
Preseason has been good.
Yeah, with a lot of Arsenal players getting
Oh,
into
yeah, I
a
think-
lot of teams.
I watched every single friendly game we had.
Oh, good, because we're going to
It
need
was
your
pretty
feedback a
good.
lot.
The
Because-
expectation is so high now.
Wow.
well, right now, the most owned player in the game, Roy, do you know who it is?
I think it's Jesus, right?
Exactly.
Hey, Jesus!
Oh,
Yeah.
72.6% ownership.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
I don't know.
insane. How much
I-
is Salah? Salah's like 60, right?
Salah, let me check. Salah right now is at 59.7.
That's nuts.
That's just madness.
It's more to do with the price, right?
Yeah, I think that's the
Just
thing.
imagine
Yeah.
if Salah is at the same price as Jesus,
Yeah.
it will be more
Oh
ownership.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And also the fact that Jesus just happens to be scoring goals during preseason. But yeah, we'll get to all of that because the Arsenal game is the first game, so we'll have a lot to talk about all of that as well.
Crystal
Yeah.
Palace 1, Arsenal 0.
It's oh, don't tell that to Roy. He doesn't want to hear that.
After all of this,
Well, what happened last season still in my head. So yeah, I'm not taking this game
Fair.
easily. I think it's going to be a tough game.
Fair enough. All right, huge shout out to the people in the chat, Tin and Will. Welcome. All right, so let's get started. First of all, before we start, this stream is sponsored, or not sponsored. We're affiliated with Fantasy Football Scout. If you want to join, you can use the link in the description, and it'll help the channel as well because we're affiliated. We get a tiny commission, but I don't know, it's not too big. But depends on which tier you use. I use the stats from there, and most of the stats that we use on Fantasy Football Scout are shown here. If we do use from other sites, we'll let you guys know. But yeah, feel free to use the link in the description. The link is also there. Another thing is mini leagues. Make sure to join our mini league code. It's right there on the bottom of the screen, X269WB. Make sure to join the Football Chatbox mini league. Last season's winner, K7, is taking part in this season's Scout the Strikers, Keepers, Losers, Weepers tournament in the team that I'm captaining. So we're looking forward to that as well, and we'll see how we do in that tournament. And I'll keep you guys updated as well in that tournament and how we go. We've got Roy, Kern, Rush also part of the team as well. So let's see how we do in the tournament. Now, having said all of that, season ticker, we've kind of seen this before as well. I've discussed this a couple times already now with Karan. Roy seen it for the first time, maybe, I don't know. But right, it's sorted by difficulty somewhat. Brighton, Wolves, Spurs, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, all up there, and they basically make most of our squads at this point, I would say. We do have a couple players at the bottom as well. In terms of Aston Villa, some of our squads do have some players from there. But most of our squads are from the top of the season ticker. And we'll look into that because there are some very interesting drafts that I got sent over at the end. So make sure to be stay tuned for that because there are some really interesting ones that I can't say anything against it because it looks pretty good. And I feel like this season is the one where you can take risk because of that early mid-season wildcard.
I just want to say with this ticker,
Yeah.
I think this is part of the reason why the template's extra strong this season because you can quite feasibly make a team with just top 6 players.
Yeah.
Just because of the fixtures.
Yeah.
And it doesn't line up like that every season. So
that's actually very true. Another thing is Will is asking, not sure how Brighton are tough first 3. So I think the ticker was made initially with the season data from FBref. That's how Lynn has made it, I believe. But now that Brighton are losing players, I wouldn't really consider Brighton to be a top team, but we'll look into it. They still have decent fixtures.
I agree with Will. The first 3 games are not easy games.
Exactly.
This is a much improved Newcastle team as well. So
I agree. Same. So I don't think Brighton should be right on top there. But yeah, just from last season's data. Having said all of that, let's get started. Game week 1 right here. This is the fixtures right here, but we'll go into each fixture. And what I've done is, let's actually, without me explaining further, let's go straight into it. Crystal Palace. Oh wait, I was gonna go Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. What I've done here is I've taken all the data from preseason from the Fantasy Football Scout site of all their games, goals scored, goals conceded, clean sheets, and players in form. You can see that Arsenal 6 games, 25 goals, the most out of any team from preseason.
Am I reading that right? Nketiah has 5 goals, 4 assists in 6 games.
Yeah, but that was at the start, I think, quite a lot. If Roy can correct me there.
Yeah. He played literally every game, but not the full game.
Yeah.
But he did get involved quite a lot.
And 3 clean sheets. You can see why the defense is also pretty strong. The only teams to not keep clean sheets in the entire preseason were Bournemouth, who after recent comments from their manager Scott Parker, you can see why a lot of managers want to target them. And
what are the comments again? That they're not fitness. The fitness is not ready.
Yeah, and also that they are weaker than they were 2 months ago.
Right.
Yeah, so
that's a spirit.
Not very convincing, which is why a lot of managers want to target Bournemouth at this point. And Spurs, they were the other team to not keep a clean sheet. Although I'm not too worried about Spurs because I think Conte is capable of eventually getting the team to keep clean sheets. Apart from that, in terms of other teams, one notable team I would want to mention is City. They had the least preseason games, so I wouldn't read too much into City's, maybe you could say, poor performance against Liverpool because they were way more they didn't have too many preseason games, not enough minutes in the legs compared to Liverpool, who played 6 preseason games. That's something that kind of needs to be considered. But at the same time, I wouldn't take anything away from Liverpool because I thought they were really good in that game. But yeah, we'll go into this in a bit more detail during the fixtures as well. When we're looking.
But this is quite interesting. I mean, Man City only played 3 games.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
They started
very late
preseason.
preseason.
Very late preseason.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why. So that's something that we probably need to consider.
And Crystal Palace played 8 games.
Yes. Palace, I think, yes.
Wow.
Didn't they? I think they split their squad, if I'm not mistaken.
It's getting me worried now.
Yeah, no, I think they split their squad. But yeah, Zaha is on fire. But their initial fixtures, though, a bit risky.
We were talking about Zaha going somewhere, but clearly he's staying.
Who, Zaha? Yeah, I think he's going to play. Patrick Vieira is doing a pretty good job as well. So, I
mean. I don't think he's
And also, Will has mentioned they're starting a centre back who was playing in League One last year. Yes, I think Bournemouth's centre backs, they're almost non-existent, in terms of quality. So they're a team that you'll want to target from the off-go, and which is why Haaland, people going off Haaland for Game Week 2, I'm like, ooh, that's a captain candidate right there. So we'll see. Let's get into it anyways. We're here, Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. Now, what I've done is I've taken screenshots from SofaScore of all the teams' preseason friendlies. They're more in most cases I've taken their more recent ones. In some cases I've had to take a game before because there were teams that played on the Saturday and then followed on the Sunday as well. So because of that, at times their squads were split. At times they played their important squad on the Saturday and the weaker squad on the Sunday. So
Yep.
I had to kind of like look at this team sheet and see, okay, maybe this is somewhat closer to what they will start in game week 1. So that's what I'm trying to kind of show from here. So hopefully that helps the people to kind of visualize and see, okay, this is how the teams might line up for game week 1. Now, Crystal Palace obviously in a 4-3-1. Zaha on the left, no difference there, kind of expected. But the team that we want to speak mainly about is probably Arsenal, with Martinelli and Jesus up front as strikers. Does that read right compared to... And also a back three in this case?
Well, no. I think Ben White would be the right fullback. Zinchenko left. So it's going to be 4-3-3.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I saw as well in preseason.
I think that's what I saw, but I think SofaScore is interpreted.
You got 11 players, right? That 11 players will be playing.
Okay.
So Partey will be the defensive midfield.
Yeah.
It's like an anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Xhaka, Odegaard in front of him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right.
Okay. So it will be more of a 4-3-3 kind of formation. Yeah.
You will be a 4-3-3 for sure.
But Ben White he plays like a pretty conservative right back, right? Like he doesn't.
Yeah.
And Zinchenko will go up and down a lot more.
The tactics really is attack is from the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Xhaka will drop back to the left kind of side.
Yeah.
Zinchenko will go forward and whip the crossing. Doing some passing with everyone else. So every single game is the same pattern. I think last two games is the same 11 starting.
So this is from the Sevilla game?
Yep. And the game before against Chelsea is the same team.
Okay, so this is most likely what we're going to see as the starting 11.
Yep.
Now, there's a question from Will with regards to Tierney. What's the status of Tierney? Do we know whether he's going to be back soon or...
I think he's fit, but not match fit.
Okay, so it might take a
So
bit.
he's still got the injury, get him past that, and I think Arsenal is taking very conservative measure regarding Tierney because he's injured a lot last season. So we don't really need him for the start 3 or 4 games, and it's going to ease him back into the team.
Even if he comes back, Zinchenko can play the 8 role and take Xhaka's spot, right?
Yeah. Or I mean, Xhaka has been playing really, really well last season, and I can't see that happening. I think he's more like a cover.
Yeah.
But if he's playing so well for the first three games, I can see him taking the place, the left back, because Tierney's style is, to be honest, is not really what Arteta wants.
Okay.
He wants a technical player.
Yeah.
Who can control the ball, who can retain the ball, pass the ball. So Tierney is a bit more like very direct on the left, typical left back, English left back. He's Scottish. He's very straightforward. Go to the side, whip the ball in. But I think Arteta is more want someone who control the ball.
Okay.
So I actually see Tierney quite hard to get back into the team if Zinchenko is playing well.
And how has Zinchenko looked in the attacking phase of play in all the preseason games?
As I said, he's pretty good. He has the freedom to attack because Xhaka normally drop back to cover that side.
Right.
Gabriel is pretty good by himself, so he does get involved a lot in the games. I really like this 11. I really like it. We don't need to get any more players. This will do. If everyone is fit, this will be good. And Tomiyasu comes back.
Yes, that's what I wanted to ask.
The right back. I think he will take the right back.
So
position
then does
back.
White move to centre back and Saliba gets dropped, or
It really depends on the first few games. If the first few
Yeah.
games Saliba plays that well,
yeah,
I can see him taking that spot.
Yeah.
He looks really, really, really good. If you guys didn't watch the game,
yeah.
he looks so comfortable with the ball, with defending. He by far the best defender I've seen in Arsenal team. He looks so calm.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
He is
this
that
changes
good.
my perspective on in terms of which Arsenal defensive picks are more safe at this point.
Oh, Gabriel will be still
Yeah.
the safest.
So it's probably just Gabriel and maybe Zinchenko.
Zinchenko is probably almost as safe. Oh, I guess he could get rotated every now and then.
Yes, Gabriel is the safest bet.
Mm.
The other three subject to change. I mean, Ben White. I don't know. I mean, if Saliba plays that well, Ben White won't get back into the team if Tomiyasu is back. So just watch the first 3 games, 2 games, see how Saliba plays. Because from what I've seen, he can take that place for sure. The one issue I have with Saliba is he does not attack as much as Gabriel in corners and free kicks. Gabriel is a threat. Every corner, he's a threat. But Saliba looks so comfortable at the back.
So that would mean that Gabriel is probably the best defensive option from that backline, apart from Ramsdale.
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, he's 0.5 more expensive than Saliba, right? He's 5. Saliba is 4.5.
Yeah.
Zinchenko's also 5.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Zinchenko's in Arsenal drafts in general. I've seen a lot of Zinchenko's. Gabriel, I haven't seen too much, but I agree. Yeah, Gabriel is probably the most safer one. But I guess, like Will mentions, the safest out of the lot would probably be Ramsdale.
Yeah.
Agree.
Fair enough. Another thing that I should mention is Arsenal's next couple fixtures: Ramsdale, Crystal Palace, and who is the next one? Brighton, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, Leicester. So there are teams that tend to take quite a bit of shots, and some of them being like low XG shots as well. And that's where like Ramsdale, if you saw last season, he makes a lot of saves and gets a lot of bonus points.
Yep.
And most of the times when I used to watch Arsenal, the saves that Ramsdale makes, it's like a lot of fast shots that come in, which is why he tends to rack up all those bonus points. So maybe he could be in line for maybe 8 points at least, possibility in like first 2 game weeks, something like that.
Barnes and Madison are definitely susceptible to just taking lots and lots of shots.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of them love taking shots. Yeah.
If Arsenal keep a clean sheet, he could be a good option for points.
Yeah, I mean, Leicester City is a weird one, right? They haven't bought anyone this season. And what the goalkeeper is going, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. By the looks of it, we don't know yet, but.
And Madison wants to go. Tielemans wants to go.
All linked.
Yeah, so I can see some unrest in the team there. That club, I think they might be in trouble this year.
Probably.
I just feel like there's not much happening.
Yeah.
And Rodgers is told to sell players first before buying, and they can't sell because I think Arsenal is interested in Tielemans and Tielemans wants to come, but they couldn't agree on a price.
I don't think Leicester have made a single signing.
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't make no one.
They did have about 5 players come back from injury though.
Yeah,
so,
that's something.
So like I don't think they were as bad as they looked last season just because they had such a massive injury roster.
Okay.
And no Europe this season, so
it's the Europe thing is huge as well. So it's possible that those 2 things are the reason why they feel like they don't need to spend.
Fair enough. It's a possibility. Yeah, that's something we'll have to wait and see. Crystal Palace, on the other hand, I'm not going to touch too much on them because their opening fixtures aren't great. They got Liverpool and City in the first 5, so I'm not really going to touch too much on them, not spend too much of time on them. Anything else to add on Arsenal? Okay, wait. Your top 3 Arsenal picks.
Jesus, Saka, Gabriel. Oh, Ramsdale quite close to. Okay, sorry, I changed my mind. Jesus, Ramsdale, Gabriel, Saka, top 4.
Interesting. Okay, so
Okay.
now attack. I've seen a lot of people think between maybe even tripling up on attack. Saka, Martinelli, and Gabriel. I generally probably wouldn't really recommend it. I think Martinelli and Gabriel alone is enough. But yeah, thoughts?
Hey,
Definitely not. Saka is the penalty taker, so that's where
Is-
he's got the edge, right?
Is Saka the confirmed penalty taker though? Because I've
yeah,
seen
I was
talks.
just about
Yeah.
to ask that. I've seen both theories. Some people say that whoever wins the penalty takes it. Some people say it's just
Maybe,
Saka. Yeah.
maybe
Because
we'll find out from the Amazon documentary. They
yeah,
might talk about it. You never know.
yeah, no,
Because
you're right. Yeah.
Saka's been taking the last how many? He's been taking the last 3 or 4 penalties, right?
I think so. But then they
Uh,
said that when Martinelli won the
yeah.
penalty, he took it. So,
Towards the end of last season.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I don't know.
I don't know. I
We'll
don't
have to
know.
see. We'll have to see. Okay, so that's still up in there.
But Saka most likely to make penalty himself, right? He's so quick in the penalty box.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was Saka, and Ashik also says is like Saka is probably the confirmed penalty taker, so we'll have to see. But yeah, okay, so that's up in there. Thoughts on Arsenal attack?
Arsenal is going to win the Premier League.
Roy, you're setting yourself up to be clipped and cancelled.
Oh, do you know what? After
Edit.
5 games,
Yeah.
Arsenal will be top of the league. That's the prediction I'm making.
I think they have good fixtures, so that's a reasonable prediction.
Yeah, that's a possible prediction. I wouldn't like. Yeah. Could happen.
Anyway,
Okay,
my piece is I done my piece.
Fair enough. Colin, anything to add?
Nothing. I had Martinelli since my first draft.
Yeah.
Just because like it seems like a lot of value. But now and also because of Roy's comments, I'm starting to think about Saka a bit more. But you know, I did think that it was I get to just save 2 mil.
Yeah.
But maybe it's worth it.
See,
So,
that's
but actually, he's a good pick because he's cheaper. He's much cheaper.
Yes.
yeah.
And I feel like I've been listening to a lot of Arsenal podcasts, right,
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
inside the club and fans and experienced supporters and all that.
Yeah.
This year could be the year Martinelli really made the name for himself. Because last season he was very direct. He gets the ball, run the defender, get to the byline, get the ball in. In the preseason games, he's done quite a lot of assists. You can see he's 1 goal, 5 assists.
Yeah.
So he's added that in his game. The assist he put through for Jesus in the last game, that is absolutely awesome.
Okay.
And so with the ball in 45-degree, Jesus get to the end of it. Done. Simple. So he's got that now, and he's pretty much got a left wing position. He's the one to beat. It's hard for me to find Smith Rowe getting back into that position
I wanted
now.
to ask about him as well. Yeah.
He's back in training, right?
Yeah, he hasn't really stopped playing, but then his injuries, his calf injury, is a lot going on for him. And because Martinelli is doing so well on the left, there's no position for him. So left 8 probably is the one he can feel like got more chance to get back into down the line.
Does Martinelli find himself on the end of attacks?
Well, not in the friendly games. He's on the wing, right?
Yeah.
He tried to get into position because when we play on the left, when Zinchenko got the ball, he will go in. But typically he gets the ball, he will try to dribble past defenders with the ball in. Or cut inside, have a shot. So that's what he does.
Right.
Whether he's going to get the end of the attack, I mean, he will. If he's something coming from the right, if Saka attack, he'll be in the box. if he attacks, Saka will be in the box, or
Right,
Odegaard
right.
won't be in the box. So he will. I think that is a good pick. If you don't have that much money, then he would definitely be an excellent pick. He might do really well this year.
Fair enough. Okay.
Remember last year, like
Yeah.
he couldn't hold on to that position because got Smith Rowe there. I think after pre-season, I think Arteta pretty much see him as the first choice now.
So something to add, over 3,000 minutes, Martinelli has an XG per 90 of 0.4, which is like, you know,
Really
that's like a 8 to 9 mil midfielder XG per 90, you know. So that's his stats his underlying stats have always been really good. It's just whether he's confirmed game time.
And with the 5 sub rules, I don't know. I mean, he might be the first one to come off.
Yeah.
So we got to take that into consideration this season as well.
Yep.
Okay, something to wait and see. For now, he's in my team along with Gabriel Jesus and maybe Ramsdale. But yeah, we'll speak about that in the draft section. Okay, up next, Fulham versus Liverpool. Again, Fulham. Let me just get Fulham. The only player I have from Fulham right now is Andres Pereira. And that's mainly because you can see he plays in that number 10 role. And he's on set pieces as well. For a 4.5 bench option, I think is pretty good.
Yeah.
And also, if you were to get someone like a Trippier or a Dalot in your team, when Newcastle and United have those tough fixtures in Game Week 3 and Game Week 5, Andres Pereira has Brentford and Brighton during that time. So pretty good rotation option if you were thinking of something like that. So yeah, apart from that, I'm not really looking at any other Fulham player for the moment. That's just my thoughts. I think when Fulham's fixtures improves after Game Week 8, then I'll probably consider Mitrovic as well.
Yeah, I think Mitrovic is a legit option. I mean, I know everyone was burnt by him 2 years ago, but this team is completely built around Mitrovic.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
He's a legit option.
Liverpool? Triple Liverpool, double Liverpool,
Double at least.
Trent and Salah.
Yeah, Trent and Salah locks, and then you
Pick your third.
you pick your third, or in some situations you maybe don't go third. Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, do you think Nunez will start or Firmino will
So now
start?
this team sheet from Liverpool is the one in their Community Shield. And I kind of have a feeling that this might be the one that they start with for this season against Fulham, especially because it's an away game. So I think maybe Klopp might want to debut Nunez at Anfield itself. Maybe it'll be a bit more easier to ease him into the Premier League on a debut with the Kop behind him. But from what I've seen from Nunez in the game against City and in the game, especially even in the preseason debut he made against United, is the fact that Liverpool are built as a system perfectly for him. They spam crosses into the box, and I think Will can probably Will is a Liverpool fan as well, so he probably know better. But they cross into the box quite a lot. That this guy is going to be on the end of a lot of chances.
Yeah.
That's something I noticed even when he came on the Community Shield. The guy was a threat. He gets the ball quite often. Salah did drift a bit more wider, but I'm not too worried because Salah just looked really good in that game.
So I think there's an interesting like paradigm. I think if Firmino plays, then Diaz and Salah are better FPL assets. I mean, Salah's already a great FPL asset.
Yeah, even more better than
even better. And then if Nunez plays, then I think Diaz is slightly worse and Robertson is slightly better.
Yeah, I would agree.
This is like this is just we don't have enough sample size to say this for sure, but that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like, yeah.
But out of the three, for your third Liverpool spot, if you were thinking of, for me, I think Robertson still edges it as that third Liverpool spot for the moment, because of we basically have history to back up. Like, we know the guy is capable of delivering 150 plus points in a season, and is also capable of getting us clean sheets and attacking returns.
I think Robertson is the safest.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think it's interesting because all three of them are affected by the Firmino or Nunez thing. So
Yeah.
Robertson is the safest, but I think the other two are more upside if
Mm.
you guess on the right side of the coin.
Yes. I would agree with that.
Yeah. So I think it's valid to pick any of them. Yeah.
For me, now I know Rushant currently has Nunez in his draft, and I wouldn't stop anyone from going Nunez in the drafts because I think even 30 minutes against a Fulham side, if he gets 30 minutes against Fulham side, he could get an attack in return. The one thing is, you don't necessarily also have to go 3 Liverpool right at the start. Maybe we could just wait and see who is the best third Liverpool asset before making that decision. That's also a possibility.
Well, but if you have Nunez as a striker option, who do you sacrifice?
Kane or Haaland is what I've seen mostly being sacrificed.
See, that's the issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose if you do that, you get Son in.
Yeah.
Or De Bruyne in, right? Isn't that what they will do if they don't have this 12 million striker?
The thing is, so that's like almost like a, it's not a premium, but it's very close to a premium because of the fact that you have two, I would say mid-priced strikers. You could say like 9 million. Are they mid-priced? Maybe they are somewhat mid-priced strikers. But
semi-premium.
Yeah, semi-premium strikers.
2.5 million.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost close to a premium, but not a premium. So I haven't seen too many of the fact, like when I've seen Darwin and Jesus paired up alongside a Salah, and then the rest are like your 8 million picks and everything. So you're missing. I mean, the 8 million pick could include Foden as a City attacker or even a Mahrez. But there is no Spurs cover in that specific scenario then.
My latest draft, which you'll see, is running 3 strikers.
Yes.
So it has
Unless you do
Jesus
something
Kane,
like
Jesus Kane and Darwin.
Yeah.
But
which is also, I think, a pretty good draft from what I saw.
But the sacrifice is the midfield.
Yes, exactly.
So,
a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's possible, and that's why I think this season is the season where you can kind of make those. You can take those risks because of the fact that we'll play an early wildcard. We'll play a wildcard somewhere like 6 to 8, somewhere around that region. A majority of managers might play their wildcard. After that, you will then get another wildcard in like basically 8 weeks after that.
Yep.
So you can play a bit more risky at the start. Another thing is, at the start is probably the best time to maybe like try these things out, because because you can't be experimenting at the end of the season. It's much more harder to climb rank at the end of the season. At the start, it's a bit more easier. Also, bandwagons, maybe you can react to it. I don't know. One thing is, the mids and the forwards are the ones who will get the most price fluctuation. So you'll have a lot of team value changing based on mids and forwards, because that's where mainly the bandwagons go to.
And there's a lot more active players in the game at the start of the game. So price fluctuations happen more at the start of the game.
Yeah. So maybe if Darwin Núñez looks like a really good pick in Gameweek 1 itself, if you have him already, you're good. If you don't have him, you can then jump on him for Gameweek. You can jump on him for Gameweek 2, but he's playing Gameweek 3, he's playing United. And then again, United game, I think that might be a game where Firmino comes in. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For me, I think he'll play or get 30 minutes plus.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I think.
So, yeah.
All right, cool. Anything else to add? Liverpool, Fulham? Nope.
No.
All right, cool.
Really? No.
Anything? No?
Nope.
Okay. Next up, Bournemouth versus Villa. Now, like you said, Chris Mepham, James Hill, I think, and I don't know, Lloyd Kelly, I think is the other one, who's from like League 2 or something. I'm not really sure which one. But they are struggling. Bournemouth are struggling. Villa, on the other hand, look pretty decent. Leon Bailey, for a 5 million option in his recent form, looks pretty good. 3 goals, 2 assists. When he's on the pitch, he's on crosses as well. Sorry, on corners as well. So set pieces duties, he's got that as well. Their fullbacks are quite owned as well. Like Matty Cash has been owned quite a lot. So thoughts, Villa assets. Obviously, fixtures go downhill immediately after like game week 3. But yeah.
Yeah. So Bailey, Digne, Cash, all probably the best 3 options, and
Yeah.
then Coutinho and Watkins are also like tier 2.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. I mean, Leon Bailey. I mean, what position does he play?
Midfield.
See, yeah.
Midfield.
In the game, he's midfield. Here, he looks like he's playing like a striker/wing.
I don't know if I agree with this. I feel like it's normally a 4-3-2-1.
Yes, I would say so.
You know, like the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
formation.
So him and Coutinho are the two like your cams.
Wide camps,
Yeah. With Watkins in the center.
I mean, yeah. I think fullback and Leon Bailey based on the pricing. I mean, Coutinho seems like a luxury to have. I mean, if you have him, and you're gonna have to sacrifice some of big 6 teams players. So yeah.
So I watched Villa versus United, and Bailey was absolutely electric. Who was? I mean, he was against Tellers, right? Do you remember, right?
I think so. He was against Malacia as well for a certain time.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. But he did well.
Yeah, he looked dangerous every time he got the ball.
And I think he's the kind of guy who's going to enable a lot of these big hitters to be in teams as well. So I wouldn't mind punting on Leon Bailey for the first 3 game weeks, especially given that their opponents right now are Bournemouth in game week 1.
The caveat is after 3 game weeks, the fixtures are horrible.
Yes,
so
that's the one caveat. So you better have an exit plan planned after that, because you're gonna need it. Anything else on this Villa assets? Yep. Okay.
Not for me.
No.
All right, moving on. Leeds versus Wolves. Now, Bamford and Rodrigo are doing pretty well. If I'm going, I don't know how I'm going to. Is it Aronson? Yeah,
Aronson,
I think so. He's also been looking pretty good. I think he's also 5 million, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. 5.5. Okay.
All right.
He's 5.5 in midfield. He's also apparently supposed to be a pretty decent option. 3 assists so far. But the other bandwagon on the other side is Wolves, and you got Neto. Now that Jimenez is injured, you got Neto and potentially even Podence, who have also at 5.5 million. They're getting a lot of ownership, and their opening fixtures are good. So I can see why their ownership is up. Now the question is, are Wolves a better team without Jimenez or with Jimenez? Not really sure. Like in terms of attacking, I think Wolves are slightly worse without Jimenez. At least that's what I think. But then I watched the highlights versus Sporting, and Neto was involved in quite a lot of attacking play. So I can see why a lot of managers are going towards Neto. That could be an option as well for those to start the season with. He's probably a more long-term pick compared to Leon Bailey.
I think I like Neto over Bailey.
Yeah, fair
even
enough.
for the 0.5. I feel like he plays up front, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole reason for the bandwagon, right? So without Jimenez, it's either him or Podence up front, and most people in the community seem convinced that Neto is the better player. So
at the moment, yeah.
Yeah. So
he's got
I'd take him over 0.5. Over
yeah, fair enough.
For the 0.5, yeah.
Got an 18.9% ownership at the moment. So it's pretty high ownership as well. Because I'm also now been thinking, like, if I can save, if Ward is a 4 million goalkeeper that plays, then I could like downgrade a Ramsdale to a Sanchez, save that 0.5 million, and if I wanted to, then I can upgrade Leon Bailey to Neto after like a game week 3. That's a possibility I could even think of. If
we'll speak about that goalkeeper rotation. I think that's a really important one.
Yeah, if Wolves look like they are a decent team, that's a possibility. I don't know, but yeah. Any other
the biggest thing putting me off Neto is the fact that he plays for Wolves, and every time
that's the thing.
And every time I watched Wolves last season, they were terrible. Like they struggled to create chances, and Just
that's a good point. I think Wolves are struggling towards the end of last season to score goals. Defensively, they're pretty good. I mean, attacking wise, they don't really have much to offer. I mean, this game, Leeds United, they might turn up, they might not. Who knows? This American coach, what's he like? They might turn out to be super good, Leeds.
Yeah, they could. They have lost 2 key players, but Bamford's been looking pretty decent in the last game.
They lost Calvin Phillips, guys,
and Rafinha. So that's two huge losses.
But like Calvin Phillips was like the, absolute
bedrock, basically.
The bedrock, right?
Yeah. We'll have to see how it happens, and also, I don't know. I think Leeds could have a tough season, but let's see what they can do with the money that they got so far from that sale from Rafinha, from Calvin Phillips. They still, I don't know if they'll make a couple more signings. We'll have to see what happens. But their opening fixtures are decent. Probably a wait and see for me, at least.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple. I was on Ian Mesley as well before, but now I'm slightly off him. But he could be a decent goalkeeper option as well.
I think so. I think Sanchez is probably just a better 4.5.
Yeah, probably.
With the current fixtures.
Yeah.
But
okay, cool. And also,
Will made the point that Calvin Phillips didn't fit in Jesse Marsh's system. He was a Bielsa player through and through. Yeah, I
could be, but he was injured also for most of that Jesse Marsh them as well.
I didn't know that. I watched mostly Leeds under Bielsa, and Phillips was absolutely key in every game.
Under Jesse Marsh, Leeds were more defensive, I would say. Or they improved their defensive this thing. But that also came at the cost of their attack being weaker. Yeah. Anyways, we'll see how Leeds do against Wolves upcoming game. Next up, this is the correct one. Yes, Newcastle versus Forest. Now, nothing too big here, I would say. Newcastle look like a good team. Decent fixtures, I would say. Not the best fixtures, but decent fixtures. Trippier is getting a lot of attention because of his price tag. Apart from that, not too convinced by any other Newcastle player at the moment. Bruno Jimenez, I think, is a bit too pricey for his... Or not too pricey. I think there are better options at the moment.
I think last season, towards the end of the season, he played more box to box, but he's traditionally more of a deep double line, pivot, deep lying player.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he's doing. Is Sven Botman 4.5?
Yes, I think. Let me check. I'm checking now. Yeah, 4.5. Botman is a really good defender.
Yeah, really good defender. Also a massive threat from set pieces because he's just a big guy, isn't he? Yeah. So he could be a 4.5 to keep an eye out on. Nick Pope. Yeah.
We know what we get from Nick Pope usually. Saves and points.
Yeah. But I think I saw some comments that he's Dubravka will also play for his spot or something.
Okay.
So
I'm not sure on that yet.
It turned me off Pope a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough. For me, I think Trippier is probably the best option out of the lot because he'll be on the set pieces and everything. And I mean, if you got the likes of Lascelles, Botman, Callum Wilson all to aim for, probably get some assist at least.
Yeah. So Trippier is the premier option from this team. For me, he's probably close to being the best 5 mil defender in the game.
Fair enough. Close, last time you added Almiron, 5 million. We're still going there?
No, that was a joke.
Okay.
Just to be clear, he doesn't score much.
Forest, Nico Williams, 4 million, playing wingback.
Yep.
From what I have heard about Forest, is their wingbacks are very attacking. So that is why you see Nico Williams in a lot of teams because of the use of wingbacks. I'd be interested to see how Jesse Lingard does there at Forest, but for now their opening fixtures are quite tough. But just something to note of.
Yeah, I thought the reason people pick Williams because he will play and he's cheap.
Yeah, that's exactly. And also he's very attacking.
He's a 4.0 with assist threat like that.
Yeah.
Like we never see that in FPL.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you just if you want to have bench players, at least get the ones that are playing.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you never know when you might need them. So I would have Nico Williams. There's another 4 million defender as well. We'll speak about later. But yeah, I think Nico Williams right now is pretty good. Jesse Lingard maybe a one to watch when Forest fixtures improve, if we can replicate the form he had at West Ham. That is. Anything else to add on this?
What about the goalkeeper? Dean
Henderson.
Yeah.
He's a very good keeper, in my opinion.
But
Yeah.
fixtures are not kind enough for me to suggest that at the start.
Yeah,
He did well at
Maximin
Sheffield,
is
though.
pretty good as well. Saint Maximin, I mean, Newcastle, Saint Maximin, Maxent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good, right? Really, he's one of those players would perform one day,
but not perform
not performing the next day, and perform again.
I can't have that in my FPL team.
I think he's a great player, maybe not a great FPL option. That's how.
No, not consistent enough.
Yeah.
I just don't think he has a lot of end product. He beats a lot of people, and then maybe not doesn't get all the goals and assists.
But yeah, I think we'll wait and see on Newcastle. I think for now Trippier is probably the best option, and I think he could be. You would see him in a couple drafts, and I think he's a pretty solid option as well. Again, like I mentioned,
he's a good option.
Rotates with Andres Pereira when Newcastle have tough games in 3 and 5. If you all wanted to. Okay, next up is Spurs versus Southampton. Now, I've seen a lot of teams go without Spurs, and then I ended up watching the last Spurs highlights, and I saw Perisic playing almost ahead of Heung-min Son, and I was like, get into my team. I went and downgraded Ruben Diaz to Nathan Ake just so I could afford another $1 million to get Perisic in. And then I watched the video that the Wire Boys did with James from Planet FPL, and he was he's a Spurs fan who was very confident on Perisic as well, and Doherty as well, as options. But Perisic, what we know from Conte, he's like Conte's guy, back from Inter as well.
He's Conte's guy. He plays incredibly attacking.
Yeah.
He's dual-footed.
Yeah.
He takes lots of shots. He's tall, wins headers. He's straight in my team. Like, he wasn't in my team at the start because he wasn't training at the start because there was some injury. But as soon as I saw him play, I was just put him straight in. So,
Roy, thoughts on Spurs?
Well, my thought. They're shit.
Your unbiased thoughts on Spurs?
I'm too emotional with this. I'm not suitable to do FPL because I'm just too emotionally involved with supporting Arsenal and hating Spurs.
This is what I told Roy at the season review last season. I was like, Roy, you need to probably leave the bias aside for next season to try and get some Spurs assets in.
Okay, I mean Spurs, right? They are good.
Yeah.
But every other team know how they play now.
Yeah.
They love to do this counter attack. They love to play this boring football. They love to do that, right? I mean, one way to shut them off, really, just put all the defenders there.
Yeah.
Make sure they don't do counter attack, because when they do,
it's a possibility, but it is one way.
Bias aside, I don't think I think it's a good point. Yeah.
It is.
They do play somewhat reactively.
Yeah.
But less so under Conte than Mourinho. So.
Yeah, true. I mean, Perisic. I mean, he's what, 32?
Yeah, 30,
so.
Maybe 33 even. Yeah.
Play in Italy for last so many years. The Premier League is a totally different league, right?
True.
It's totally different league. I just thought Perisic came over too late.
Before when he was linked with United. Yeah.
I know it was linked to I don't know whoever.
Yeah.
Even with us, I think a couple of years ago. I mean, Arsenal was talking about Perisic. I just think he's too old for Premier League. If you want to play fullback,
I still think he has good potential.
I think he's maybe got a couple of good seasons in him, right? And
you reckon?
And Conte never stays, right?
No,
at one club for that long. So, maybe he just wants to get the most
just
out
look
of
at
it.
the team. Just look at the lineup. Javier,
Roy's Arsenal biases.
Bissouma. They just ultra defensive, right?
Yeah. So
Bissouma, he's the guy just shutting people down.
I-
All
I-
he knows is tackle, tackle, tackle.
I would say their creativity in midfield isn't that great for Spurs.
Yeah.
But that's why. So when you said then when you lock them basically shut the park the bus basically against Spurs, that's when you could potentially see like then the likes of Richarlison and Conte just throwing his attackers on there. But I still think that given that Perisic is marked as a defender, you get clean sheets and attacking potential. Like these are like there are some fullbacks you probably want just for FPL perspective. That I think they're really good options, and I think he's one of them.
I can see the debate when people don't pick any Spurs players because let's talk about strikers, Harry Kane or Haaland, right? Who would you pick?
Probably Harry Kane because of experience and everything in the Premier League.
I think it's
But I can see Haaland as well because of the fact that his stats are just insanely crazy, and he plays for the best team in the league.
So picking Kane game week 1 and then
going to
booking
Haaland
the transfer
game
game week 2 to Haaland is going to be a very popular option, and I think it's a good option.
And also when you're talking about midfield, Son or Salah?
Salah.
Salah over Son.
Yeah.
But you could have a draft with Salah and Son.
I have a draft with Salah and Son.
Right. Yeah. I think it's valid.
Roy is like no. Roy is struggling. Okay, we'll skip.
Did you not pick Kane or Son at any point last season, Roy?
No, I did.
Oh, you did. Okay. Right.
No, I felt awful doing that.
I respect the commitment.
Yeah. Fair enough. But yeah,
maybe that's the reason I didn't do too well last season.
You need more Spurs players in your life. Look at us. We have Liverpool players in our team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Kane could be a really good option to start the season as well.
Yeah.
If I've seen people go off Haaland, but I still wouldn't do that. But yeah, I think you need a Spurs attacker somehow.
Kane looks so good
Yeah.
in preseason. He looks like on it. He looks really, really good.
Yeah. That's true.
I'm really tempted to try and fit them both in because I think that Man City fixture run from like game week 3 to 6.
2 to 6.
2 to 6. Yeah. You know, I just really want Haaland 4, but I don't know. Maybe I'll have a draft with both of them in it. But
maybe it's possible. And then Southampton, not too confident about them. I predicted them to kind of get relegated as well, so we'll see. I don't know.
So Roy said Spurs struggle against teams that park the bus.
This is Southampton right there. Yeah, they could actually cause trouble.
I was gonna say they actually play.
They're high
They
intensity.
actually play. They play with high intensity and pressing and with a relatively high line, even against the bigger teams.
So you're basically saying they're gonna get hammered 9-0 again.
Which is why they sometimes get smacked
9-0.
9-0. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like they're a tough game. Like,
there will be a tough game for us.
They're a well-drilled team.
I mean, for Spurs, yeah, I would agree with that. But I still see a lot of goals in this game for one side. But yeah, I don't know.
We didn't speak about Doherty. I think he's a good pick.
So now,
because I think he's first choice for that right-sided.
I think so as well, because the fact that are you going to play Emerson? Maybe not. I think Sessegnon on the left side is a bit of a better backup for Perisic than Emerson is for Doherty.
I don't think Spence will play until later in the season.
Probably not. Yeah.
Especially with Conte's comments around Spence being a club signing and not his signing.
Lucas though?
Lucas was tried in preseason.
Didn't go as successful. Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that wasn't tried. Doherty played after that. And who else? Yeah, Emerson is he's more of a defensive fullback, isn't he? He's not much of a wingback.
No attacking.
So he's either on his way out or kept for other positions, I guess. But so for me, Doherty is, when he plays, he plays like a striker playing on the wing. It's crazy.
Both their fullbacks play really well. But yeah. Anyways, I would say Doherty, pretty good option, but I would put Perisic over Doherty if I was to pick a defensive option.
If he plays, he's the best 5 mil defender in the game. That's what I think. If he plays, right?
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
if he gets minutes, I think he's the best 5 mil defender.
I'd agree, probably, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll,
he's too old. His legs don't get broken.
we'll
in the
move.
first game.
I feel like Roy is like, this is going against all his principles.
Yeah, well, yeah, you really don't know. I mean, Spurs, they've never won anything, and it's hard. I mean,
fair enough.
anyway, I mean,
We'll move on. All right.
yeah, so Spurs to get relegated. And,
no, not that far, maybe, but
Fair
they'll be
enough.
forever in the middle.
Yeah, fair. All right. Talking about teams to get relegated, Everton versus Chelsea. Now,
Are you talking about Chelsea getting relegated?
that's someone I would wish, but no. Everton more likely. Calvert-Lewin is apparently injured.
is he? Okay.
Apparently, from what I heard, I need to check on that. But yeah. Talking about the 4 million defender, Nathan Patterson is that next 4 million defender. I think he'll start because Coleman is not yet fit.
And he's old now. Coleman's very old now.
Talking about old players, Coleman is pretty old. So Nathan Patterson, I think, will start 4 million. Another player, if he wanted a 4 million defender, he's another good option. Compared to Forest, Everton do have a more kinder set of fixtures, except for Gameweek 1. Their other fixtures are kind of more favorable compared to Forest. If you wanted a defender to ever come on, maybe Patterson could be that option from your bench. I've seen a couple drafts where they're playing 2 4 million defenders because they're stacking the midfield and all. That's also maybe if you wanted 2 4 million defenders, these guys could be the case.
Does he play? Is he better than Nico Williams?
No, I think Nico Williams is more of an attacking fullback, and he's coming from Liverpool. We know Liverpool's fullbacks are in general pretty good.
And he's got an undisputed starting spot, right? Like here,
exactly.
Coleman can start a few
back.
games here and there. So
that's the one thing.
I would still roll with Williams as my 4.0.
If you had to pick one 4.0, I would go with Williams.
Didn't Everton got smashed 4-0 by American team?
Yeah, exactly. So keep that in mind as well.
Which
is why I'm thinking they might get relegated
against them.
They might get relegated, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. I really don't rate Lampard as a coach.
Neither do I.
Maybe I'm wrong. Like his teams don't look very inspiring.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing.
But I don't rate him as a coach as well.
Remember last season towards the end.
Yeah.
I love Roy's
He got so lucky. He got so lucky to stay up. Like Richarlison single-handedly, dragged them across the line and then fucked off. So
the other side is Chelsea. Now, a lot of people are picking Reece James. They are linked with Cucurella, who could potentially now. The talk is Cucurella could potentially come into that, can play that left centre back spot. He could also play left wing back. The reason they're saying left centre back is so that Reece James doesn't play that right centre back role, and then Chilwell can play left wing back.
Just on that, I mean, Cucurella play left centre back. Are you kidding me?
See, that's what I don't really trust it. So
he's short.
He's a good.
He's not that short.
How tall is he?
I'm checking him.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I still think.
I don't think it's his first position, but he has played like 8 to 10 games for Brighton there last season and done quite well.
1.72 meters.
What is that in feet?
That's like 5 foot.
That's like 5'9" or
5'9". That's like Martinez height. What are people talking about Martinez when you're trying to play Cucurella?
But also like a centre back in the side centre backs in a back three are not like your physical specimens in a back two.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right, like you can get away with it. Like Azpilicueta plays right centre back and does it quite well. Reece James plays right centre back and does reasonably. So
Reece James is taller for sure.
Yes, I think Reece James is
probably
taller.
Yeah. Azpilicueta can't be very tall.
No, Azpilicueta he's small. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's definitely and he does quite well there.
Reece James is 5'11", 5'10".
Okay.
Cucurella. Now, if this move goes across, I think for 5 million Chelsea defender, he could be a really good option.
If he
he
plays left
starts-
wing back,
yeah.
he's a great option.
Yeah, if he plays left wing back, he's just like, I will get him in immediately.
Yeah, but then Chilwell is waiting to
That's
come
the
back
only
in.
problem. So then I need to know at least the guy plays minutes.
If he plays left centre back, then Koulibaly will play on the right, which is his favorite spot,
Mhm.
right? Silva will play in the middle.
Yeah.
And James will stay on the wing,
back. So
like
James
you
is
said,
still
yeah.
much more.
So Cucurella coming in makes James better.
Yeah.
Right. So you're always gonna get James.
Yeah.
So then if you get Cucurella, he's like you're doubling up on Chelsea.
Defense, kind of. Would you get so? You
I think I'd get James anyway.
Okay. Would you go with James immediately from the start, given Chelsea's recent preseason form?
I would. Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. I just think his attacking output is just too high.
I agree.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, don't you find Chelsea don't know what they're doing in terms of buying and selling? They just buy players other people want.
Well,
other people buy the players they want.
Exactly. Not other people. Just one club buys the players they want. Barcelona have just been knocking on the Chelsea's door. Hey, who are you going to sign? Let us know, yeah? And they go, okay, we'll go and sign them. That's basically Barcelona's transfer policy in recent terms. But yeah, I think Reece James are pretty good. For me, I'm slightly turned off by the fact that Chelsea haven't looked as a good system in preseason, and that there are slightly better options at the moment. But once I see Chelsea locking their system down, because they have good fixtures until like game week 10, I think, then I might probably get on to James.
They've got decent fixtures.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Mount or Sterling, guys?
Mount could be a good player. Sterling, I have to wait and see. I don't know where he's going to be deployed. He's played centrally as well at times for Chelsea in preseason, so I'm not really sure.
The latest preseason game, he kind of played like a false nine.
Yeah,
almost.
exactly. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So he could be a good option.
It's just because he's 10 mil. It's like another premium.
Yeah, that's the only problem. He's like that. He's just too expensive above the 8 million options, and also he's a bit cheaper than your KDB, Son, Salah. So he's in a weird bracket, like Vardy was last season. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, for me, Chelsea, I think in general, my stance is that Chelsea is a wait and see for me. But as soon as they click, then I'll be on them.
I'm definitely watching Sterling. I think if he hits any kind of form, then there aren't many natural goal scorers in that team other than him. I just don't think Havertz has much of a goal output.
Yeah,
I think he probably makes other people around him better, but other than the wing backs and Sterling, who's going to score all the goals? Mount doesn't score that many goals.
No.
So
Agree.
if Chelsea click, I think Sterling is one to watch.
Yeah, probably agree.
Well, the key question is, will they click? Because out of
that's what we don't know yet.
If Arsenal were to get to top 4, which I think they will, who's going to drop out? I actually think Chelsea's got more chance to drop out top 4 than Spurs.
Yes, that's what I also think. That's what at least
because
I had in my predictions
because
video.
of the changes in the high level in the club will make the team unstable. I think it shows in the preseason games against Arsenal. They were awful.
They were bad against Arsenal. They got
awful.
Arsenal just dominated all over Chelsea. But there were instances when Chelsea had a counter attack where they had the option to score, but they didn't. Now, again, I think the system Arsenal the thing with Chelsea against Arsenal was I think they tried a back 4 and it didn't work.
Yeah. They looked terrible.
Yeah, in a back 4 they looked bad. Now, if they get this Cucurella move done, then I think maybe we could think of them a bit more better, and Reece James also becomes way more appealing then.
Their issue is their midfield. Like they don't really have but I mean they don't have anyone that's a good single pivot sort of player for a back 4.
Yeah.
Which is what you need in a back 4, right?
Yeah.
Kante is not that type of player, right? He's like a box to box nowadays.
At the moment,
right? Yeah. So he's been like that for a few years. So they don't really have that type of player. I saw that they're linked to De Jong.
Yeah.
earlier
I
today.
also saw that. I hope they're not linked.
Yeah, but I
But-
mean, if they get De Jong, that's gonna elevate this team a
Yeah,
lot.
then yeah.
And I also don't want to read too much into the preseason game. Like they looked terrible in that Arsenal game, but half the game they were playing with like a terrible system.
Mm.
They're lucky that they have a good fixture run at the start of the season, so they've got time to really bed in a system. So
Yeah, true. I think Arsenal are just too good.
I need to ask. I need to Arsenal
welcome to the
counter
Arsenal podcast with
Yeah.
Roy.
with Roy as your host and us as co-host. I need to Arsenal counter these days. All right. On to shall we continue next game? I think
Yeah,
Rich
let's go.
James good option right now.
Oh, wait, one more question. Is
Yes.
Mason Mount on penalties?
I don't know. I think so.
I think so, right?
Yeah, I think so. But
Okay.
Jorginho, when he's on the pitch, I don't know.
Okay, it's one of
Yeah,
them. I'll have
it's
a
one
look.
of them. It's like the Arsenal situation. We had to.
And Alonso is on his way out. That's
most
the other-
likely, yes. Once
okay.
Cucurella gets done, most likely.
Okay.
Leicester versus Brentford. I've seen a couple of people with Vardy. I think that's a pretty good option. Harvey Barnes looking good. Drewsbury Hall also not too bad. Madison, but then all comes to the whole: will the guy stay? Will the guy go? We have no idea. Like a lot of their players are linked with moves out. But
It looks like you've already considered Tielemans going to Arsenal, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not on here at the moment. But
I don't know. I don't know about this this starting 11 or formation.
Yeah, I'm not really convinced yet at the moment
Yeah.
with Leicester. This was the last one I think that they played, but again, we're not sure. But this is where the goalkeeper talk comes into play because they potentially might have a 4 million goalkeeper playing in Ward.
Ward. Yeah.
And I've seen him now on a lot of benches because of that information. There is
Yeah.
the possibility that you play Ward for the first game because Brighton play Manchester United, and then you start Sanchez after that.
Yeah.
There is that option. Now, will Leicester sign another keeper up during the window? I have no idea.
No, they said they won't.
They
Okay.
said they won't. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Roger
and-
said no, they won't.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then Ward
And
could be.
Rogers also said Ward and Iverson will compete for the spot,
Yeah.
but it's Ward's to lose at the moment.
Okay, so that makes
Or,
Ward
or
like
something to that effect, which is
something,
why
yeah.
everyone's getting Ward. Yeah.
So that makes him a really good option.
Yeah.
And that
mean-
is a viable option now to like rotate between Ward and Sanchez.
It instantly makes him the best backup keeper in the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So many backup players that are playing at this
Yeah,
price
this is
point. I've never
crazy.
had this in this previous season.
Yeah. Normally you struggle to find, two playing
Yeah.
subs.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that's another thing to consider. That 0.5, you could either save it and maybe use it to react to anything that happens in Game Week 1 or Game Week 2, or you could invest it elsewhere if you wanted to. That's another option. Anything else to add on? Even on the opposite side, Brentford. Rhea is another goalkeeping option people have been talking about.
Yeah. Rhea is a good option. I don't think he has any competition for his spot. Brentford are pretty defensive team they defend as a team with just Tony and Bournemout up front.
Yeah, yeah.
So he'll always be a decent option as long as the fixtures are favorable.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think Tony is. They've lost Ericsson, right? So I think.
Yes, that's why. So it probably
Yeah.
Affects
So
their-
I wouldn't really consider any attacking options from Brentford for now.
fair enough.
No, I think they will struggle this season.
Second season syndrome. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, the
Brentford,
second
maybe.
season, yeah.
Maybe. Cool. We'll wait and see. I think Ward is probably at the moment the Leicester pick of choice. Vardy is another good option, especially for captaincy. Could be maybe
I think James Justin might be
4.5. But if he's playing
one
in
of the
that
best
center,
4.5s.
in that centre back role though.
He won't. I think this is just some preseason formation.
Okay, so then it's
I think
fine.
their proper,
Is him
most
playing
likely
in the
formation is
right back.
4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
He'll play right back or left back.
Yeah.
I think left back is his primary spot, but he plays when he plays either wing, he's very attacking.
Yeah. I think if we can recover that form he had like a couple seasons ago.
He had an ACL injury, right?
Yeah, that's what. So before
Players
that,
never come back the same after
Yeah.
ACL.
we've seen
So
Shaw.
he's a very exciting player.
Yeah.
So, and then other than him, Madison's 8 mil. He's a decent
Mhm.
option. Barnes is 7.
Mhm.
and
Apparently
Vardy
Pere-
is 9.5.
Yeah, and apparently
They're
Pereira
all
is injured, so boost
Perez
Justin.
injured.
Yeah, apparently Ashik is saying. I
Okay.
need to check on that though.
Okay,
Uh,
well then
but
there you go. So Justin will play on the right and Castagna will play on the left.
Could be another good option if anyone is looking at. And 4.5 as well. Added to that, final 2 games, I think. United versus Brighton. Now, I had 2 United assets to start a couple weeks ago, and now I've gone down to 1. I might potentially even go down to 0. The reason being, I watched the last. No, I didn't watch the last game. I watched the game before. Sancho not being there makes a huge difference to United's attack. They look way more one-sided, mostly towards the left, basically, because the right is just bad when Sancho is not there. That kind of turns me off Dalot as well as an option, because he doesn't have that partner to overlap with. If Sancho starts, though, changes everything. Martial's a really good option. Sancho becomes the best midfield option from the United lot. Dalot also becomes a really good option, in my opinion.
I think the fixtures aren't good enough for me to consider them without Sancho. Like earlier on, I really wanted one of Sancho or Martial. Now there's some, is Ronaldo going to get into the team? It's unlikely. I still think Martial will play at least the first 4 to 5 games, maybe 3 to 4 games. But their fixtures just aren't that great. Like they're a bit better, like game week 4 to 8, but the first 4 or something not
It's
so
not
good.
because they have like Liverpool in there, and I think they have another tough game.
And Brighton's a tough game. Brighton's a really tough
I would
game.
say Brighton also now be a very tough game. No, but if Sancho is fit, I think that's something you have to wait and see. If Sancho is fit, it improves United's attacking options.
Everyone improves Martial, and improves, and Sancho's a good pick himself. Yeah.
Another thing I would say is Rashford. He hasn't looked the sharpest. I was on him, which is why now the way Martinelli is performing, I'm like Martinelli is way better option than Rashford.
I think so too. Yeah.
And also Garnacho played the last game, and Garnacho looked like a really good option as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Garnacho can find his way into that left-hand side as well at times. So there could be rotation there at times. But I don't know.
I think he'll get like 10-20 minutes here and there to start off with. I think Rashford is still first choice. Rashford did start to look better in the last preseason game. He was taking players on and doing tricks in
the Atleti game.
Getting past players, taking on shots. When Rashford plays like that, he's an excellent FPL option.
But I
think
how
did Bruno play in the
too
preseason?
deep? He's playing. So
Bruno,
go ahead.
I was gonna say Bruno's playing as a number 8 now. So in again, this formation is not quite correct.
This is not right. It's a 4-3-3.
It's a 4-3-3. So Ten Hag's system has Fred as the single pivot, and then 2 number 8s, which is Bruno and McTominay or Bruno and Eriksen. So I don't think Bruno is anything close to a decent FPL option in this system. When Bruno was a good option, he was playing behind the striker.
At the number 10 in the 4-3-1. But United are playing a 4-3-3 under Ten Hag, which is why they're linked with De Jong, because De Jong will basically slot in that Fred role if they get De Jong. But it's a 4-3-3 with Bruno way too deep.
I just think United need to sort out Ronaldo issue.
That's another
thing. He's there. They need to sort it out. Either he's in the team or he's not. Sort it out. Sort it out early, because that uncertainty plays on people's minds.
It's not good for the team.
I'd agree. So that's something that needs to be like sorted as well, because that impacts the way we view United assets as FPL options as well.
Which I enjoy, by the way. So he can stay there as
Roy is
long
confident
as
for now. I need to wait till Arsenal get a few results going downwards, and then we'll have Roy.
Tell you what, top of the league in 5 games.
I can't wait for Zaha to score a hat-trick.
Any thoughts on Brighton? Do you think Brighton are much more weaker now, or is it still pretty decent? Because they've lost Bissouma, potentially losing Kurela. I mean, the system can be impacted a bit.
I think Bissouma is a key player for them last season.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Losing him is a huge blow. So their defense will be a bit shaky, I would say, this year. But attacking-wise, though, Trossard seems doing pretty well.
3 goals.
Trossard was killing it towards the end of last season.
Yeah.
But he was playing at striker
Yeah.
Remember? Because
Mm.
when Mope was injured, Trossard was playing as like a false nine kind of
Yeah.
thing. In preseason, Trossard has been playing left wing back,
Yes, at times. Yep.
and somehow still scored 3 goals. So
Yeah.
yeah, one to watch.
Because I thought Mumpe is going somewhere.
Yeah,
I
I think so
swear I
too.
saw the
He's going to
news.
some French club, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why is it not done yet?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
not
It's
sure.
probably wait and see. But Brighton, I think, again, it's wait and see what happens. But for now, I think just Sanchez as an option.
Yeah, Sanchez is a really good option. I
Yeah.
think Brighton, because they're so well drilled, they're always going to be a decent defensive side.
Fair enough. And then moving on to the final game is West Ham versus Manchester City. Now, this is a tough game. But I still think Haaland is a pretty good option. Actually, let's start defense. Cancelo probably is still the best option. I don't have him, unfortunately, because of my team setup. But I think he's probably
I've seen some stats and some analyses recently that suggest that Diaz and Cancelo are very similar value per million.
Yeah.
Very similar value per million. Just because Diaz is a bonus point magnet and he has decent goal threat. He actually has similar goal threat to Cancelo, believe it or not, in terms of expected goals. It's just that Cancelo is always taking shots.
Yeah. Oh, I lost you. Okay. His headset has died. But yeah, I'll just continue on that. Cancelo does take a lot more shots, but Ruben Diaz is on the end of set pieces from Kevin De Bruyne and his crosses, so which is why probably a good XG. I saw Ake. I didn't really like Ake too much from what I saw. He got skinned a lot. But I still think for 5 million, he's a decent option.
Well, I mean, why? Yeah. So, I mean, with Man City, right? You want their defenders, don't you? I mean, they will keep clean sheet. That's what they do. I mean, yeah. If Nathan Ake play, great. Whether he plays or not, that's another issue.
I don't know. Like, he could play left back. Now, here's the thing with City. This is what I was talking with like Ted as well on Monday's stream in Scout. The problem with City right now, for me at least, is you've got a striker in Haaland who prefers to run in behind and likes the ball to be crossed quite a lot, like early. And City in general are not that kind of team. Like, there was a few times in that game, the Community Shield, where De Bruyne tried to find him but couldn't find him. The others didn't really find him. But when you play a left-footed left back, maybe a left-footed wing back or whichever on the left side and right on the right side, he has a bit more opportunities to get the ball in quicker. And Pep also mentioned this, where he was like, we're not getting the ball into to Haaland faster. So that's something maybe where Cancelo could potentially move to the right. Ake could play maybe left back, and Stones could come in the middle in centre back. That's also a possibility if he wants to get the ball to Haaland a bit more faster. Because Walker is not that great in crossing.
No.
And his attacking is not as great, but I don't know.
I don't think Ake is very good at attacking either.
No, he's not.
I don't think he's
it's
very
just
good
that he's a left-footed centre back, which is the only thing.
They sold Zinchenko without lining up a replacement.
Yeah.
It's
I thought they were trying to get. I think that's why they wanted to get Cucurella, but Brighton. Well,
Chelsea haven't got him yet.
Yeah, same. So yeah, that's the thing.
I don't know. Maybe City jump back in. We'll see.
We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think if they can sort that issue out in terms of getting the ball to Haaland more faster, and this is where I think Foden might come into play much more faster than we thought, because as soon as him and Alvarez came on the pitch, they looked really good.
Yeah. Why do you think he's not starting?
He didn't go for preseason because he didn't get his visa to go to the US.
Because he's not vaccinated.
Yeah, so because of that he couldn't go. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if Foden starts game week 1. It could be a possibility.
So you think Grealish could get benched?
Probably, but I don't know. But because like Foden looks so much better, and I think out of all that midfield options, Foden is still probably the best for me at least.
I think Foden plays better with Haaland.
Probably. It could be. I don't
See,
know. We'll have to see.
I
Go ahead.
think Grealish looked pretty good against Bayern Munich.
He did. That's the thing. But
Against Liverpool, maybe not, but he definitely looked good against Bayern.
yeah.
So
Maybe he
it's
gets
tough to
another run.
gauge.
You never know. But I don't know. We'll have to see what Pep does.
And Grealish definitely plays better with an overlapping fullback.
Yes. That's
Even
the
at
thing.
Villa, that was the case.
Yeah.
It makes more space for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens with regards to City and their system. Mahrez, on the other hand, Mahrez was been Mahrez. Cut inside, take shots. For me, Mahrez as an FPL asset is hasn't been that great since he left Leicester. It's always been a disappointment for me. But I don't know about you guys.
Stay away from him is what I would do.
He's good when he's on pens, right?
Yeah, but now we don't know that even.
He's probably not on pens. So there's a chance Foden could play on the right, isn't there? I know Foden normally plays on the left or as a false nine, but he has played some games on the right.
He could potentially. Yeah, but if Alvarez plays on the right at 6.5 million, oh my god, that's a really good forward option for you.
Yeah, he's very highly rated.
Yeah.
Very highly rated, yeah.
So I don't know. For me, the takeaway from that was I saw enough from Haaland to think he's still going to be a really good option. And I wouldn't go away from him, especially given that they have Bournemouth in Gameweek 2.
This is a tough game.
This is a tough game. I would agree with that.
Yeah, let's be clear about that. This is a very tough game. I think West Ham are one of the more physical teams in the league.
Yeah.
Especially the way Moyes sets them up to play. They've got really big guys. I think they will, they will really try to outmuscle Haaland.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we'll have to see how it goes. One other thing I'll add is Haaland could be a yellow card magnet. So the way he just takes defenders out at times, the guy just
really?
Okay. So that's just something to consider. But even then, I still like his goal potential is high.
Yeah,
if they can find it.
It's like Declan Rice, Souček, Zuma. They're all huge guys. I don't think he's gonna take any of them out.
So who would you pick top 3 Man City players?
I would go Cancelo, Haaland, and the third one I might wait and see. I might just wait to see if Foden is actually going to start or not. I'll probably give him 1 game week or 2 game weeks even if needed to see what City do before picking that third slot.
I'd go Haaland, Cancelo, Diaz. I think the 8 mil Foden, Mahrez, Grealish guys are rotation prone until they fall into some
that's
sort
the same. I got the same top 3.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's a bit more risk averse, but I wait to see what.
Yeah, that's the thing.
What patterns?
West Ham, tough fixtures. Bowen slightly more pricey than before.
8.5, right?
Yeah. Convinced by West Ham or?
I haven't watched any West Ham preseason.
Same, as I haven't. So I'm not really sure on West Ham yet as an
option.
I
mean, they overachieved last season, right? And the season before.
But they have a good team, though. That's one thing I would say.
They have a good team, again, this formation is a bit wonky. I think the way they will actually play is probably with Scamacca or Antonio up front, and then Bowen just off him.
Probably.
So Bowen will play like a second striker just off the target man.
We'll have to wait and see how that lines up, I think.
So, if fixtures are good, Bowen's an option for sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's basically it from all the teams. Okay, this is something that Abin shared, where it's like a chart that we thought maybe some players might be good in these brackets. So I've just come up with a quick list of players I've just chucked in to be good at these brackets. Maybe these are players that you could probably think might fit your team, and I think we've also covered almost all of these players in this list. So yeah, for anyone who wants to have a look into this. Having said all of that, Karan, do you want to talk about this a bit?
Yeah, so I saw this on Twitter.
From Cost Tredford, I think.
Yeah, but yes, that's right. That's one of the FPL Twitter accounts. I thought this was quite interesting. So this is expected points for the first 8 game weeks plotted against price. So this kind of shows you why the template maybe looks the way it does. So this season, you see managers picking at least 4 big defenders, sometimes even 5. So if you look at this, you can really see that there's the top end defenders outscore the mid price midfielders and the low end forwards. The only people outscoring the top end defenders are top end midfielders and forwards, which is exactly why we're seeing teams that are playing 5-2-3, 5-3-2,
Big at the back.
big at the back.
Yeah.
So I just thought this was an interesting one to see. Also, it shows that you can see all the 8 mil midfielders, they're all clumped together.
Yeah, which is why all of them are options probably.
Yeah, and again, there's not that many strikers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd agree. Yeah, but
so
so
I just thought it was interesting to understand why the
team
template looks the way it does.
If you're someone who cares about team structure, then your team would probably have a couple high-end defenders, 8 million price midpoint, like a midfielder, maybe 1 premium forward. So that's something your team structure might have. But yeah, just something interesting to keep. Having said that, let's move on to the teams. Do you want to talk about your draft here that you've sent to me?
Yeah. So I think my draft is it ties in exactly to the thing we just talked about. Yeah, I just think there's a lot of value in defense. You can start Robbo and Trent or double Spurs, double City. There's quite a few ways to do it, but there's lots and lots of options in defense this year.
3 Spurs players. What is this?
Don't leave, Roy. But yeah. But I honestly think the Spurs wingbacks, if they get consistent minutes, are underpriced in the game. That's like a fundamental belief behind my draft. I think 5.5 for Perisic and 5 for Doherty are going to look cheap if they play. If they don't play, I will be wildcarding very early. But that's
because
I play
impact from this.
Well, the thing is, I don't really know which 8 mil midfielder I want.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like I know they're all good options, but I think it's a bit of a crapshoot picking them. Like the City ones we discussed, they're quite difficult to pick. Saka is a good pick, I agree. But then I already have Martinelli and Jesus. And then I want Ramsdale. So now who do I drop? Saka seems like better value. Sorry, Martinelli seems like better value. Saka seems like more points. Then Luis Diaz is a good pick, but then it's Diaz or Robertson or Darwin, So I think there's a lot of options at the 8 mil mid bracket, but not sure who's the best. And I know for sure that I want Salah, and I know for sure that I want Martinelli because of how much value it is. So yeah, that's why I'm playing 2 in the midfield. And I know I want Kane and Jesus. And yeah, so I opted to go for another forward.
Fair enough.
So I mean, my only thing with this draft is that perhaps there's one too many gambles in here for game week 1.
Yeah.
Like I could maybe, go Doherty to some sort of safer 5 mil defender, but I don't.
I mean, if it pays off, it pays off huge.
I think the upside is quite high.
Yeah.
So that's currently where I am. I also think Darwin will play.
Yeah.
I think he looked absolutely amazing in the 30 minutes that he played.
Yeah.
I don't think Firmino is on his way out, but I think Liverpool are moving on from playing the way they have for the last few years with Firmino. They're starting to play with the traditional number 9. And I think this 5 game week period before Champions League starts with weak fixtures is the perfect time to bed Nunez into the team. And if Nunez, doesn't play, it's easy for me to go Nunez down to 4.5 and upgrade one of the midfielders to a playing midfielder. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So all the eggs are in the Spurs basket
at the moment. Yeah.
But I'm almost certainly going to go Kane to Haaland in game week 2.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Oh, okay.
But you might have to, if Haaland scores immediately in game week 1, you'll have to do that move fast because his price will go up and you'll be priced out.
Immediately.
Yeah.
I'll do it mid game.
The lucky thing is City game is the last one of game week 1, so you kind of can wait. Having said that, This is Roy's team.
Oh,
Bigger the back
sorry,
again. Right.
sorry. Will just made a really good point.
Yes.
When Jota comes back, then I
Yes,
think
that's another
Nunes
thing
is
we have
a
to
much
consider.
worse option.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Sorry.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. That's a good point. So yeah, similar to mine, I got 5 defenders. I think defenders got much more value than attackers. So yeah, that's the 5 defenders there. I got 3 Arsenal players, 1 Spurs players, reluctantly.
Lewinsky, yeah. Not too bad, I would say.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, I don't like the color, but anyway, he's the right price.
Yeah.
For that game, so I think he's all right. I mean,
and Richarlison is suspended, so he will start.
I mean, heard what you just said. I think I might get Harry Kane in for the first game and doing exactly what you guys do, change it the second game.
Yeah.
I
would start.
I think you should get 3 Spurs players and just bench them all. Just to
no, don't do that. No. But having said that, I would start Leon Bay probably over Neto, just for this game.
Oh yeah. I mean that's a good idea. That's a good idea. That is a really good idea.
Oh yeah, Bournemouth. Yeah.
Just to take advantage of that game. But yeah, I like your team.
My previous draft, I got Salah, Haaland, and Kevin De Bruyne. 3 premium players.
Have KDB now. Yeah.
I really struggle with getting some other good players.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I changed that straight away about 10 minutes after that. I just hope that works well because Arsenal defenders, I think Arsenal defensively been doing really well. Jesus been scoring goals. So it's no brainer there for 3 Arsenal players. Then they've got 2 Liverpool players. I mean, 2 top performers from last season. James, because he will create chances and no matter what. Cancelo, Diaz, and 3 City players. I think they will score big points defensively.
Yeah, I think this is a solid team as well. Having to say that.
I think it's a very good team.
Yeah.
Didn't we say before that White is maybe not nailed?
That's what. So that's Roy. You'd ask Roy.
Yeah.
So who's that? Sorry, who?
Ben White.
Ben White is maybe a bit of a rotation risk.
I mean, he's 4.5, right? That is a good point. I really tried to get Gabriel, but I couldn't.
You can if you downgrade Bailey.
Or downgrade Diaz to Perisic and upgrade White to Gabriel.
Then you'll have 3 Spurs players.
You'll have 2 Spurs players.
Yeah, but he's gonna get Kane. So.
Yeah, I mean, I could do that. I could do that. So White will play the first game, the first few games. That was hoping for because he's going to play on the right back. So he will get involved in attack a bit and set pieces. He will be there. And I think at one point last game, he actually played up front for like 10 seconds. Then he realized he was in the wrong position. He just ran back.
That's what Roy's counting on. But you could also wait and start White, and then maybe if you see Perisic getting more minutes, then you can probably move to, I don't know, another option. Or even Doherty.
Fuck 5 million. Perisic, man. He's too old for this.
Okay, Doherty for 5 million.
He's too old for this.
Hey, I mean, you could go Bailey down to another 4.5 and then White to Gabriel. Right?
Yeah, or get rid of Nato, get someone else, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll make some further changes, but
it looks good. I like it. Yeah.
But yeah, big at the back is back.
Yeah, it looks like it's back. Now, I'm not on big at the back, but I'm on a premium.
There we go.
I think it's okay. I don't know.
You've actually not changed this draft very much.
No, apart from like bringing Perisic in, Ramsdale in recently.
You haven't changed it much at all.
No. The core is still very similar. And I'm kind of sticking to it because I think it kind of will do well. I don't know.
I think Dalot is a risk.
That's the one thing. I think Dalot is someone I might change. I might, like Roy said, I might go White at the start. And then downgrade Ramsdale to a Sanchez and start Ward maybe, if that looks like an option. And I might store the 0.5 to be able to react to anything that changes, like bandwagons or anything.
Okay.
That's another option I'm considering. And also, I might need that 0.5 to upgrade Bay to a Neto if worst case happens.
Or Perisic to a James
Or
if
Perisic
he's not
yes,
playing.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's so I'll have a little money in the bank maybe to this thing. But that's my current team. And anything add on this?
Nope.
Yeah, no, this is a very solid team. I think the advantage of the premium is that I think game week 3 and 4,
Yes, I
you'll
cover
have
the
a
captaincy.
better
Yeah,
you will have a much better captaincy option than anyone
yeah.
else.
Because
Yeah.
I think Spurs have a good captaincy shout in game week 3.
Yeah.
So I might cover the captaincy options, and I might be ahead of the group in terms of those who are moving from Kane to Haaland in game week 2. Meanwhile, I'll probably be back like rolling my transfer.
Yeah. That's actually a pretty good advantage.
Yeah.
Ake,
I'm not too convinced, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you still have you don't have an Arsenal spot. Yeah.
No. We'll see. I don't know. I might downgrade even Ramsdale. I just want a City defensive cover there. That's why I have him there, because a lot of people won't cancel, and I won't have any City assets in terms of defensive. That's why.
For anyone watching, sorry, just on what Ryan said, if you go to Holly Shand's page on Twitter, she posts the goalkeeper rotation of Ward and Sanchez.
That's a good
rotator. And they rotate quite well together. They have good fixtures, so it might get you a similar number of clean sheets to Ramsdale for 0.5 less, which is huge. Right?
Yeah. So. Additionally, Will sent me his team as well. Oops, I'm back. I'm just gonna add that as well here.
Yeah.
So we kind of this thing. So this was Will's team. Oh no, where did it disappear? Give me a second. Okay, not appearing. So I'll have to read it out for you guys. So he's got Ramsdale in goal, Cancelo, Trent, Robertson, Trippier, and Perisic at the back. The bigger the back.
Cancelo, Trent,
Robertson, Trippier, and Perisic.
Okay.
And he's got Salah, Saka, and Leon Bailey in midfield. Jesus and Kane up front.
Wow,
that's a good team.
Yeah,
that's a very good team.
That's a pretty solid team as well, I think.
Yeah, apart from Perisic, everything else is pretty good.
Apart from Connie Roy, but I think it's a pretty solid team. I don't know what I will change. I think it's just...
That's a really solid team.
Yeah.
I think Saka is for me one of the. You know how I said I couldn't make my mind up about an 8 mil option, so it's like Saka is one of them that I would pick. Yeah. So.
He says currently booking a Kane to Haaland transfer in game week 2, and then Saka could be Mahrez to avoid booking the transfer, but then Mahrez rotation worry. But I think the Kane to...
How much is Mahrez?
Mahrez
is same as Saka.
Same as
Saka. Yeah.
I'd probably start Saka.
And Foden as well, right?
Foden's the same.
Yeah. So that's basically that. So let's kind of end it. We've gone for a long time. I'm just gonna put one final thing, which is the panel team, just to get you guys like y'all's opinion. We might have to change this slightly. Maybe, I don't know. Any changes to this? Barnes maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is a risky team, right?
Yeah, this is our risky team, by the way. This is not a team that will this thing. This is a team that we go like against the grain. But I think we decided that the 5 million options in the backs might be a bit too much.
Who's a good option that I don't have the balls to pick? That's
I might go Robertson. That's needed, but yeah.
I mean, I think that's a very safe option.
Yeah, that's the thing. Do we want to maybe give it a thought and like get back to it later? Probably.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll put the screenshot in the group and we'll discuss on this later. But yeah, this is how the team looks, and I think we might make a couple changes, and I'll let you guys know in the deadline stream what those changes are. Anyways, if you've stayed until now and you've watched, huge shout out to all you legends who've been here in the chat as well, keeping us company while other videos are also going on. So thank you very much. Huge shout out to Roy and Karan for being there. Obviously, this is not a stream we usually do this long, but it's just because it's game week 1. We had a lot to discuss, and hopefully it helped you guys as well.
So are you doing a deadline stream?
Yes. So I'll be doing a deadline stream 2 hours before the deadline. That's usually what I do. So deadline stream will be coming on Saturday morning, basically, for us. 2 hours before the deadline. I will potentially have an expected points video as well out once FPL Review upgrades its points a bit more after the press conferences, so that you guys will be able to see like what's the expected points, top point scorers from FPL Review. And also maybe a captaincy video, but I don't know. We'll see. Quick, we'll just probably, who are you going to captain? Game week 1.
Salah.
Salah.
Okay. Yeah. Potential Salah for me as well. Yeah.
If I had
Or maybe Harry Kane, right?
Against Southampton. Yeah, that also could work.
Hmm.
Yeah. One of those two. But yeah.
Probably still Salah.
Yeah. So anyways, maybe a captain's video, I'm not really sure, but we'll have to see. But for now, expected points video and then deadline stream definitely coming up next. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you all for watching. Good night to everyone who's been watching from Australia, and good evening, good morning, wherever else you are watching from the world. And thank you to Roy and Karan as well.
See you guys. Thanks for
Bye
watching.
bye.
See you. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Peace out.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step.